I mean, everybody is talking about reality at dawn. Those days, that's the book to read. And I picked up and I said, oh, maybe this is too much for me, because, there was such high spiritual concepts that I could not.
Now, at a personal level, how has your experience of meditation, heartfulness meditation been? I mean, what has that journey been like for you?
Actually, yeah. So it's been almost 33 years now since I started meditating. Like I said, I had to learn a lot of things. For me, it was not so much. I did start. I, in fact, fought with Master. Because those days we had to be 18 to start meditation.
And this was Chariji, was
Chariji, yes.
Okay.
So I did fight with him and I said, I want to start now. And I was just 14 or something. And then he said, no, pray for a year. And then I said, no, I want to be an Abhyasi before I come to Babuji's birthday. And
so how did your family was already doing it, or?
Yeah, my father started when I was a 6-month-old baby.
Wow.
He started meditating when I was a 6-month-old baby. So I have been fortunate to play in Babuji's Courtyard and in Sarjanpur when they were building the ashram. So the memories, of course, it was just childhood memory, but I was fortunate enough to have started, or rather grown up in this heartfulness family, exposed to it since childhood. I did start at 15 and a half, but then when I was around 20, 21, I started questioning myself. Would I have it in me? Because I'd heard, of course, stories of people have really searched for it, looked for a path, a spiritual path, and finally have been able to find one, and this feels like home, and this is the path. So when I was 20, as everybody should, I think, when you're at that age, question, are you doing it because you were conditioned? Because you grew up in this environment and because you did not know anything? So I did question. I went through those times and I was thinking, do I really have it in me to really seek for a path, that intensity within me?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when you contemplate, when you think about it, one day I realized, just because I have a memory of 20 years, I think this path was easily, this lifetime, it was a very easy way for me to find it. But God knows what I did to have it, so easily, to find it so easily.
Yeah, I think that is part of the questioning that happens, because like yourself, I'm also a second generation Abhyasi. My parents were also meditating. And one feels, has one been given this or has one wanted it? Have I wanted it enough? Mm-hmm. I think that is the question that comes. Do I want it enough? But when did you feel that after this phase of questioning that yes, this was the path for you?
I think during Chariji's time, if I look back, or even before, there was a time, I must have been, 10 or 11. And during those days, we used to have these little quotes, right? Thus speaks.
Yes, thus speaks Lalaji.
And God. I had read it, when I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade, and I think it was in 5th grade holidays or something. I said, everybody is talking about reality at dawn. Those days, that's the book to read. And I picked up and I said, oh, maybe this is too much for me, because, there was such high spiritual concepts that I could not fathom. And then I said, maybe truth eternal. I said, why not? And I read a couple of, pages, I said, oh, this is way beyond me.
It's really heavy.
Yeah. Which even today, struggle. But then I read My Master, which was more like a story, right? Is Chariji's interactions with Babuji. So it was nice to read that book. And then I was so bored, and I saw Autobiography of Ramchandra. And I said it was a thinner book, like we know during those days. And I picked up and I started reading that, and I said, oh my God. And actually, I think I read that book at a right time. As I was reading these things from Babuji's diary, I said, oh my God, this is like hearing from a horse's mouth, where he was talking about, so many things, like having been born into a Hindu family, and and he said that is not what really happened, and this is what it is. This were the states. That's where I learned that how Hanuman really burned Lanka using his willpower. I said that really opened up a lot of my thinking and horizons. I think that would say that book really changed my life, of understanding and letting go of all the stories that we have heard of. And so that's where I think truly something was lit that day.
So of course you played in Babuji's Courtyard, and but then you were very close to Chariji. You met him many times, and now you're also associated closely with Daaji. So how has it been, this role of the master in your life?
I know, one thing is of course gratitude, and the generosity of, now when I look back, when Chariji passed, we all in 2014, and I went back and read my diaries, and it was all about, he spoke to me, I was happy, I ate with him, I spent time with him. I realized nowhere had I gone in depth and said, this is what I felt. And I said, I felt that I had wasted his time. I had really wasted Master's time, because I was so fixated on it. And I said not to repeat that mistake again. I really prayed. But to, I think, Daaji's credit, he's really, through this work, it seems very trivial, but he really helped me get over all of these. Like I said, it was 6 years ago when we first time came to Kana. He said, why don't you all take up this museum work? And 3 weeks later, we were here, and he said, why don't you stay with me if we have to discuss something? And out of habit, like that's what I'm saying, like out of conditioning, and out of habit, I just went and sat in front of him. And he was not even rude. He just said, can you see what they're doing in the kitchen? He asked. But I really felt he had slapped me that day, because I was repeating the same mistake. And that night I prayed, let me not make the same mistake that I did and waste his time. Because he is really helping each one of us if we are a little bit able to cooperate. And we were there with him for 2 days, and I would be sitting in the living room. Not once did he invite me to eat with him. So he really helped me, remove that entire conditioning. And this was in 2017, and 2018 he was visiting Bangalore, and somebody came and said, he's calling you for lunch. I said, no, I don't think it's me. And he got confused. He said, you are Sister Mina, right? I said, yes. He said, no, he's inviting you for lunch. So that entire desire of these very physical things, I'm very extremely grateful for him to having helped me transition and to get over it. And when there was no residue of the desire left, it just happened.